All right, what's going on, everybody? So, this video here is about the importance of taking a stand on something, the importance of saying no to things and saying yes to things that are hard, right? I know I'm kind of sticking in a very similar vein with a lot of these videos right now about like doing what's hard, doing things just because they're difficult. But today's video, it's about the importance of just taking a stand, right? Don't let people walk all over you. Don't let people, ask things of you that you aren't comfortable giving. And the reason I thought of this was just for a little bit of context, my schedule is extremely busy. We're getting close to the end of the semester for school. I have to lock in and get some really good grades here over the next few weeks in order to get like a scholarship for the next semester because I'm starting at a new school next semester, and I gotta lock in to get the good grades. Otherwise, I won't get the scholarship. And I was asked to pick up a shift at work, and I just told him straight up. I was like, no, and he was fine with it, right? So full respect to him. He wasn't trying to take advantage of me or walk all over me. He was asking me if I could pick up a shift. I told him no, and he was like, all good, right? That was like the good ending. But it just made me wonder, it did make me in a way reflect on how lucky I am personally that a lot of the people in my life are very understanding people, and whenever I do need to say like, nah, I can't do that right now, pretty much I don't think I've ever really encountered somebody who's really pushed back and been like, no, but please, man. Like, everybody that I work with or work for right now is very understanding of me and my situation, is very much like, hey man, all good, yeah, totally fine. So I do want to just take a brief second to say I feel very extremely lucky and blessed that those are the kinds of people in my life, like currently. But I also understand that that's not everybody's situation, right? Not everybody has a boss who's really understanding and is like, hey, totally fair, take the time that you need to study, right? Like, some bosses are going to be like, nah, man, I already scheduled you, you got to come in, otherwise you lose your job, right? Or something. I mean, I've heard the nightmare stories, and I'm not sure how true all of them are, especially because a lot of them I've encountered through Reddit, which is notorious for being a cesspool of lies in many ways. But it just made me reflect about how it's important to take a stand, right? And to not only say like, no, I can't do that, because that's something that's important to do, right? Just right off, is because some people, they don't even do that, right? Some people are so people pleasing in their mindset, like they're so afraid to make anybody mad at them that they'll say yes to everything, right? Or no, depending on like what they perceive would be the thing that the person wants to hear the most, right? So they'll say, oh yeah, sure, no, I can come in tomorrow, I can do this for you, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And so they end up piling more and more on their plate when they don't want to do any of it. They realistically can't do all of it without destroying a healthy balance, you know and so obviously that's an important thing to make sure you're breaking yourself of as well. Like, don't be a people pleaser, especially if you're a man, and a driven man, like me, like, because obviously this channel is very geared towards people who are basically just like me. And I'm very driven, I'm very ambitious, and it's like, look, I'm trying to build my dreams, right? I'm making a YouTube channel. I'm trying to build a YouTube channel here. I'm trying to build a business of my own. And so, not only that, I'm working two jobs, I'm going to school, trying to maintain relationships and all that. And so it's like, when something else comes up, I have to say no, right? I have to say no to some of it. And yes, I did make a video a few days ago talking about how, like, you have to do the stuff you don't want to do sometimes. But even in that video, I did put in the caveat that, like, look, you do have to just like pick stuff sometimes, right? You have to say no to stuff sometimes. If you don't say no to stuff, you're gonna end up being completely overwhelmed. You're gonna get stressed out. And that's how dreams are given up on, really. I mean, because you're thinking like, well, I don't have time to make a video today, right? I'll just use YouTube as an example. You just say like, you're so busy, you're so tired at the end of the day that you're just like, man, I don't think I have time to make a video right now, right? I don't have a time to make a video today. I'll make it tomorrow, right? But then tomorrow comes and you realize, shoot, I agreed to do 6 things for other people that I didn't want to do. And so then the same thing happens. And then it's been a week, and then it's been a month, and then it's been 6 months, and then it's been 9 months and a year, and you haven't done anything for yourself in a year. Right? And like, yes, there's obviously a healthy balance that needs to be struck between selfishness and people pleasing, right? You gotta say no to some stuff, but you also want to make sure that you're not being that guy who's just like, nah, I'm doing something for you, I'm not gonna do that, right? Like, you want to help other people, sure, right? And that's me as well. Like, I love to help people out, and so it like, I do sometimes struggle with the people pleasing kind of attitude, because okay, cool. I don't know why the lights turned off, but I do struggle with kind of that people-pleasing attitude sometimes. Like, I'll admit it. I do struggle with the people-pleasing attitude sometimes, because I'm very much the kind of guy who's like, I want to help out everybody if I can. Man, I'm sorry, my car is being annoying. Anyway, like, I like to help everybody out when I can, and I do struggle sometimes with saying no. But the more I've done that, the more I've said no to things, the easier it has become. I will say it was the absolute hardest to say no the very first time, and since then it's gotten much, much easier. And the thing is that I will say as well, I know you're afraid right now probably of saying no, because you're like, well, I don't want to offend anybody, I don't want to make people mad at me. But the thing is, if you are respectful about it, right, obviously you can't be like, no, I'm not gonna do that for you, shut up, right? Like, don't be like that. But if you say it respectfully, you give out some reason, you're like, you know what, I wish I could, I just can't right now because I'm doing school or whatever, people will respect that, right? People will very much respect that as a thing, right? Like, even people who are a little pushier and not quite as understanding, if they see that, like, nah, you're not going to budge on this, they're going to back off. They're not going to get mad at you. They might get a little irritated in the moment, but for the most part, most people are going to respect you more when you set a boundary and you say, no, I'm not going to do this for you right now. I wish I could. Like, I always make that clear as well. I'm like, nah, I wish I could. I can't, right? And maybe that might be a little bit too far to the people pleasing side of it, but it's just like, you can't operate any other way, I feel like, as an ambitious person. Not even necessarily as a man. I do think that men need to be assertive of their needs, because, I mean, it's no secret, and it's honestly something of a cliche, that, like, women and dogs get loved unconditionally. Men have to earn pretty much everything, and men's emotions are not typically as respected. So if you were to say, like, no, I'm taking a break because I'm stressed, if you were a girl, you'd be much more likely to have that be a valid reason. But if you're a guy, and you're like, oh, I'm stressed, like, it's kind of like, oh, boo-hoo, like, man up, like, that's the phrase, man up, just deal with it, right? So as a man, it is vital that you be assertive and you set boundaries to keep some of your time sacred. And especially if you're an ambitious, self-driven man like myself, you have to set some time aside and have that sacred time be for, building a business or whatever it is. You have to have some time that is held sacred, that cannot be messed with, that cannot be interfered with. Because the moment you violate that sacred time, and all of a sudden your whole day is full, right? You can't violate that sacred segment of time, otherwise it's going to all be completely gone. Because if you don't hold a certain amount of time set off to the side as like, no, this is time nobody is going to take up other than me doing my own thing, the moment you remove that, your whole day is full, right? Your whole day is full. Because most people, again, like, the thing is, if you don't set a boundary and say, like, no, I have some other engagement at that time, I can't do that, Well, I mean, because there's no other excuse, right? I mean, you can't just say, like, nobody wants to say, like, nah, I just don't want to do that. So if you don't have something else already to do during that time, people aren't really usually going to take that as a reason. They're going to be like, why not? Just do it for me, man. So it's important to have a certain amount of time that you just have set aside, and you just say, no, nobody's going to mess with this time. And then you enforce that boundary and you assert that as like, no, I cannot do this for you because I have something already for this time. And you don't have to get into specifics. You don't have to tell them like, no, I'm doing something for me. Like, you don't have to say any of that. You just say, I have something planned for this time. I can't help you. Right? That's it. It's really it's simple, but it's not easy. Like I said, this, especially the first time you say no to somebody, it's tough. It's really tough to say no to somebody the first time. Especially if it's like a boss who's like asking you to pick up another shift and you're just like, nah, you know. Um, at least it was for me. It was for me. But the more and more I've done it, the easier it has become. And honestly, the better I feel about myself. Like, I feel more assertive. I feel more masculine, honestly. When I set a boundary and I'm just like, no, I can't do that right now, I honestly feel more masculine. So it's a good thing for me. I don't know. I mean, and you can feel free to disagree in the comments for sure. But yeah, so that's it. That's what I wanted to say for today. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, as always, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.